And again, just very quickly, there is a little bit of a buzz in the room today. We had some excitement at the Dr. Conway was like, yes. We had a little bit of excitement at the end of the day. The state police arrived on campus unannounced. I did send an alert out to middle school, high school staff, and students and parents, just so that they know it happened after school. The police did give us some directions. We followed all directions, and then the event actually wrapped up pretty quickly. It didn't involve any of our students or any of our staff, so if there's any questions, in my alert, I said contact the superintendent's office, and we'd explain a little bit more, but everyone was safe and sound, and it had absolutely nothing to do with our school or our students. So just so we say that as clearly as we can to everyone. And the police were very helpful with us and kind of kept us informed as things developed on their end. So we won't speculate or talk about what may have happened, because I honestly don't know all of the fine details, and I really don't want to know all the fine details. So having said that, I'm going to turn it back over to Dr. Carr, and we'll get started with our meeting.
So tonight, just so everybody can appreciate what goes on in this world and the government, after 56 years after my enlistment in the Navy, they sent me an appreciation. I said, and I think it has to do with Dr. Levesque having that meeting, and Janet Mills and myself and Alex were standing in one corner, and Janet Mills came up and said, took a picture with us. I didn't know what it was all about. I don't know if that was it, what you had involved in it, what you might have been involved in, but it was just amazing. Government don't work fast. That's the takeaway. But it was nice. So, and if you were involved, thank you. So, citizens' comments. I see none. Adjustments to the menu. Go ahead.
Menu? Oops. I had someone call me. This is really, I'm asking you guys what to do with this information. I had someone call me asking a facilities committee question, and I'm not on that committee. So they asked me about the discussion about solar power and why it didn't happen. So I'm wondering, so I went back and I looked at the minutes that we had as a full board, and it just says we should keep an eye out on the industry. It doesn't say a lot of information about why, so I'm wondering what I should say to this person if somebody from the facilities committee.
Why don't we just send that back to Jay?
Okay.
Because Jay had just tell him to call Jay directly.
Thank you.
And, because we discussed that.
Yep.
Yep.
You want to tell him the name so that?
Yep, I will do that. Thank
Okay.
you.
Any other comments, adjustments? None.
Good.
Okay.
Ready?
Yep.
I move to approve the minutes of February 5th, 2020.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
I move that we, go ahead.
That's what I wanted to say.
I abstain.
Yep.
Okay.
I move that we consider the out-of-state field trip, MCHS College Tours to UNH and UNE, March 12th, 2020.
Second.
Any further discussion on this one? I did talk to Jay about it. This has been done many years in a row, and it's covered by the Milnack grant.
Okay.
And so it's not coming out of our budget per se.
Both?
Yeah.
The lunch and cost of transportation? Okay.
Yep. The whole thing.
Send it.
And we have a bus involved.
I noticed.
All in favor?
I move that we consider the request for the leave of absence for Tricia Plord.
Second.
So, any further discussion on that? All in favor? Done. That's all. budget workshop.
All right, so today, we'll switch it up a little bit. I've done the last two presentations, but I did ask Sean Drinkwater to do his regular presentation as a way to discuss some of the facility projects that he's taking a look at going into next year. And he does have a handout that we'll pass out to you. Sean, if you want to come up to the microphone, you can go ahead and get started.
Okay, so on the first page, we'll start with Manchester Elementary School. I've got in there $4,000 for painting. Last year, we did not paint at Manchester because of the boiler project that was going on, and so I'd like to do some painting down there this year. We've got a roof to do. It does not leak now, but it is up. It is due for to be replaced. And that was $30,000. I want to start replace. There's a few toilets down there that need to be replaced, and that's $1,600. You'll look at the $1,600. I know what you guys are going to say is $1,600 for 2 toilets. It never goes easy with toilets here. It just doesn't. A new toilet. We're always jackhammering, bringing up the thing that the toilet hooks to. It just doesn't go easy. So that's why I've got that in there. Coal patch crack fill for the parking lot. That's one of the parking lots that we did not pave, so I want to keep going with the coal patch and the crack fill on that parking lot for $3,500.
The 2 toilets that you're replacing, are those going to be automatic flush?
Yes.
They should put that on the back.
Okay, so we'll go to Mount Vernon. Painting, I have for $5,000. We have a sewer cover out back at Mount Vernon that has a hole in it. It's on the side. It needs to be replaced. It's a safety issue.
Safety issue.
The playground equipment, I want to start updating our playground equipment, so I put in for $2,000 so I could start every year. We have a lot of worn out chains, stuff like that on the swings, pinch points. We need to start updating our playgrounds. And Mount Vernon has 3 roofs that I have on here. The big section's a $70,000 roof. There's a medium section for $25,000, and the smaller entry roof is for $6,000. So I have those on there. I have for a heat pump in Mount Vernon for the main office. I'm not sure if you guys have been in there in the summertime. It's very hot. Their windows don't go up. They have them just some flip out on the bottom, and that's it. So you can't put, I call them window shaker. And I feel the efficient way to do it is just put a heat pump in. The playground chips is $2,000. We do that every year. We keep putting playground chips in. I have $1,600 to start putting them Sloan flusher meters, as Gary just said, for the toilets. I'd like to start replacing them so they automatic flush. And I have $2,600 in to start doing the doorknob replacements to get up to ADA compliant. It's part of the Oak Point thing that they said that we need to start doing as time goes on. So that was Mount Vernon. The Reed Field Elementary, I have $5,000 for painting. Same thing with toilets. I have some toilets I want to replace. I want to start with 2 of them. Refill, and there they have a nurse's office, which is very small. I'd like to restructure the nurse's office. Jeff Boss and I have talked about this. We're going to bump out a little bit into his office and a little bit into the conference room office, I believe. Correct? Yep. To make the office, the nurse's office, bigger. Playground chips there also, we do every year. The flushometers there, I'd like to start there on those. And the same thing with the ADA compliant on the doorknobs. They have a lot of doorknobs there that are not ADA compliant. Wayne Elementary, $5,000 for painting. Same thing with playground equipment there. They have a slide that's broken. They had to take it out of service, so I'd like to replace that slide. They have one more roof at their school that needs to be done. The siding repair, they have a little bit left on the siding repair that we'd like to do. They have, their front steps are starting to deteriorate at the school. I'd like to try the $1,500. They call it elephant cement. I'd like to try it and to fix it. If it does not work, then the next step would be we'd have to do a bigger thing to fix the stairs. But I'd like to try the elephant cement first, it's called. And I have 3 countertops I want to replace in 3 classrooms. We've made all new bases for them, we just need the countertops now. So the middle school, I have for painting. We have a roof at the middle school, that's the last roof at the middle school that's over the cafeteria. I'd like to replace that. The gym floor that we do every year, he's gone up to $2,700 this year. The dumpster rental, we do every summer. We get 3 dumpsters because we collect everybody's stuff from all the schools and it seems to go into the middle school. So then we clean house in the summer, that stuff that they don't need. We do it every year. The coal patch crack fill, I want to keep doing that because we didn't pave that parking lot. And $4,000 for the valves. I buy so many valves every year, and then because we lose so many every year and we replace them ourselves, so I want to have those on hand. The high school is paint.
Well, that's middle school, all right, go ahead.
Okay. The high school painting, I have it up to $7,000 this year, and I'll explain that in just a second. The rugs, we replaced rugs 2 years ago, and last year I had it in, it got thrown out, but we still have, they're bubbling up. It is a tripping hazard. I'd like to get that finished. Once that's finished, then there's other schools that I'd like to start working on rugs too. The panel box at the high school, this school is the worst school for identifying what breaker goes to what circuit. We're running around all the time trying to find where the breakers are. It's terrible. So I'd like to start doing some identification. The gym floor, we do every year. Coal patch crack fill up here for $35. The siding repair. We went around this year looking at the siding in the school. The siding is getting bad in some places. We took the boards off where they had rotted, and I can stick a screwdriver through the plywood behind it and go right through. So we need to start doing some bad areas. And that is why I have the painting to be more, because when we replace the siding, I'd like to have them paint it after we replace it. The flush meters here I'd like to start doing. And I'd like to start doing some bathroom stall petitions here. So some of our stalls have some pretty wide gaps in them for privacy. And we have some bathroom petition stalls that are in some pretty bad shape here. They've been kicked and thrashed over the years and they're just hanging on, so I'd like to get some new ones.
So are those stainless steel?
What's that?
Are they stainless steel?
No. They do make stainless steel, and they're like 3 times the price of the original ones. They're very expensive stainless steel. I did look at them. But they have plastic, or they have the metal ones like we have now. And I would probably look at going plastic. That plastic's very hard, and it doesn't rust. What happens here on the bottoms where they connect to the floor, because the floors are always wet, and that's where they start to rust out. Plastic won't rust. So that's the high school. Transportation, we have the $5,000 for the painting. I'd like to update our plug-in line for the buses on the back end of our parking lot where the buses park. The whole right side going in, we have where we can plug the buses in for the wintertime. The back side, we have no plug-ins. Okay, so transportation, the painting, $5,000. We do that every year. The plug-ins, like I was saying, I'd like to we don't have no plug-ins on the back fence. And so we can't plug those buses in the wintertime. So I'd like to update that section. The PDC over there, I'm not sure if most of you probably know where the PDC is, but it's a side building beside the bus garage. They use it all summer long for events. They use it all year long, actually. There's no AC or anything in there either. So I'd like to have a heat pump. They've asked me if they could have AC. So I'd like to put a heat pump, and that will do that whole conference building. And we have down for a 20 by 50 concrete slab out behind the bus garage. And that is for, what happens now is Randy will have 2 buses in the garage and say he's working on them. And when somebody comes in with a flat tire, he pulls out back. Right now it's gravel, and you jack it up, it sinks in the ground. We're gonna hopefully be able to tire that bus garage at some time. But I'd like to have the concrete, because even with the tire and the hot tire, if you're jacking on it, it goes down through the tire. So if we could have a concrete slab, he'd feel a lot safer. So that, I put that in for a 20 by 50 concrete slab.
You gonna put rebar in there?
Oh, yeah, oh, yeah. Yep, it's
And
a
how
6-inch slab with rebar,
How much?
6-inch.
Okay.
Yep,
You can also put fiber in that concrete,
yep, you can do fiber mesh also, yep,
and it doesn't cost hardly anything.
right. Yep. So that's the transportation. Now, if you want to go over to the equipment, I've got in for a vacuum cleaner for the middle school. I got in for a vacuum cleaner for the high school. The high school, I have in $7,500 for folding chairs. And you guys are gonna say $7,500. That is these folding chairs right here. These chairs are very durable. These have been here a long time. And we've lost a few over the years, but they're $75 a piece. So I'd like to have 100 chairs. We share with the middle school, so a lot of times half of them are down there, we're lugging back and forth, so I'd like to update and get some more chairs. Folding tables, I'd like to get these type of folding tables here. These are getting pretty worn, we've bleached them, we tried to clean them. They don't look very good, so I'd like to update some of these folding tables. And the district tractor, that is the big John Deere tractor that Louis drives. I'm not sure if you've seen it, it's got the cab with the bucket. We're up to, I think, 3,500 hours for that little machine. We're starting to have a few issues with it, but it's time, if we're gonna do anything, it's time to trade it in now, because we're not gonna get nothing out of it later. And the price on that, when I had called him, that's without the trade. He'd have to come look at our machine, but he told me the trade would be anywhere between 10 and 15,000 for the trade. So in the transportation part, I got them.
Without the trade, so it'd come down to 30,000.
Right, yeah, that's the price the way it is if we took it without a trade, which there will be a trade, but he couldn't get here to give me the price for the trade. So the vacuum cleaner transportation, they don't have a vacuum cleaner over there, period. We keep transporting, so I want to have a vacuum cleaner over there. And 2 new camera systems for our old buses. Our new buses come in now with the panoramic view cameras. You have 4 cameras on the bus, you can see inside the seats. We still have quite a few buses that have the single camera that just points from the front to the back. And we've had quite a few bus issues and we can't see anything. So I'd like to update some of our old buses with these new camera systems, because there was a few incidents that had happened that we just couldn't see nothing. If we'd have had that new camera system, we would have been able to see what happened. So that's for the transportation.
So Sean, what about the cameras that were we talked about in the rear of this facility?
And what, say that again?
So we have no more of these problems.
Right.
Oh, here, I haven't done anything yet on that.
Is there any way that we can get an idea where that stands, so we don't let that go by?
I can, I'll work with Jay on
Because
that.
I just think that it's a must for the high school and
With the
and
wood, the
middle school.
wood lot thing is
Yeah.
that what you're talking about?
Looking backwards
Okay.
towards your rear of the building here.
Yep,
Please put that in there.
yep, yes.
Go ahead.
How many old buses do we have that are not using the new kind of?
Right now, we have 8 buses altogether that have just one single pointing camera.
Are any of those buses up for
Yep, the
replacement?
2 that we put in for this year have the old camera systems in it.
Okay, so then it would be back down to 6.
It'd be 6 if we got 2 buses.
If we got 2 buses,
Correct.
right. Right.
Yep.
We're going to get 1.
We're gonna get 1, yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
Thank you.
Gary?
Go ahead.
What kind of, for the vacuum cleaner, what kind of model is it?
Windsor, it's a Windsor Versamatic vacuum. They're very expensive. But they do last.
Go ahead, David.
Couple of questions and a comment. Having worked in a large nursing retirement home some years ago, commercial vacuums were easily in that range, if not higher.
Yeah.
A question on, I don't know if it's been an issue here, but in another school I was connected with at one point, I believe, auto flushes were targets for vandalism. The little lens getting smashed by,
We have had that happen here at this school, on one since I've been here.
well, that sounds pretty good then.
Yeah, but it has happened. Yeah.
Okay, well, I was just concerned because in that case, it was decided to stop using it and it was so bad.
Yeah.
But if it's going fine here.
Yeah, we seem to have pretty good luck, but I'm not gonna lie, I mean, we have had one that, and it still works, but they broke the glass out of the lens.
Well, I love the efficiency idea of them.
Yes.
The water saving and so forth, so I'm not complaining in that
Yep.
way. And then, on some of these larger items like roofs, rugs, sidings, pavement, concrete, is there any way we can slide some of them onto the bond?
The one that,
Finances?
to me, that he talked about, that could go over that way is that slab. Where was that slab? Where was it, the bus?
Labs way towards the end, 18,000.
That's only 18,000, so.
We do have one roof that's 70,000, that's one of the bigger ones.
Put the roofs together, it's easily over 100.
It is.
So you've been in each school out by itself, or you've been them all together?
No, they're like, Mount Vernon, one roof's rubber roof, they do and then one roof's, and the other roofs are all shingle. So when we put that out to bid, G&E will get the rubber roof, I'm sure, they're both the only ones around, but then the shingle roofs will have other people, and I'm sure G&E wouldn't get that bid. And these roofs, if we did these roofs this year, that gets us all of our school roofs are done. They won't be due again for another 3 to 4 years.
The addition of all those roofs. Total cost.
150. Question.
Go ahead.
I was just wondering if the rugs, is that going to interfere with your locker project?
Nope.
So let's go back to David's question. All the roofs together, I was just told, was 150,000. Is that something that facilities should take up and move to the bond?
Well,
Because it's going to last more than 15
We
years.
can, I mean, I don't want to interrupt, but we can also, these roofs aren't leaking. But they're due on our schedule, our roofing, the G&E, I have a roofing schedule through G&E Roofing. They monitor our roofs, and they're come up due. But we could do half this year and half next year if that was an option to lower it down. But I just want to make sure everybody knows, they are not leaking as of right now.
Is there one in particular of the roofs that you've got that is due this coming year?
The $70,000
The
one.
70, okay.
That one is due, yeah.
So then we would end up with the 70 and the 80,000 for the following. So the rubber roofs, are they all good?
That's the one that's due this year is the 70,000. That's the one at Mount Vernon. That's
Well,
the rubber roof. That's one section of it, and that's the old section that has rocks still up. They used to put rocks all over the top of the roof.
Yep.
It's time to go. It's been there a long time. Yep.
I'm sorry, what was your total amount for roofs?
The total is 150, so if we take
Like
this,
148 or something like that.
Did you include the middle school roof? I got 167.
30, 100, 125, 131.
Whether 150 or 167, it's a
Oh,
significant
there is,
amount.
I missed the one on the back, I missed the
Okay.
20,000 on the back.
It's a significant amount. And if we were to do them all,
I think we need to talk about it at the Facilities Committee, whether to recommend getting it done through the bond.
So I think, how about if we bring that up at the bond? Put that on our bond thing to do. I agree with you. That should go to the bond. Go ahead.
For the G&E roofing analysis, they say it's due. What's the condition report?
We've had some repairs, we've had to have some repairs done, but they go for 15 years on that roof, and it's been up there 23, I think it was, 23 years. The repairs that we're having aren't in the center of the roof, it's where everything protrudes through the roof.
Is that the rubber roof that you're talking about?
Yes.
What
yeah.
about all these other roofs?
The other roofs are all shingle roofs.
Yeah.
The shingles are starting to curl,
Okay.
and like I said, they're not leaking, nothing's leaking, but it's time. It's getting there. Yeah, right. Yeah.
So that's, we're going to bring up the roofs in the facilities. Okay. Any other discussions? Go ahead.
The concrete slab outside the bus garage, have you talked with the same people? I don't even know if this is possible, but the same people who are doing the black topping?
Yeah, they don't do concrete.
Okay,
Yeah.
that was my question.
I had to get another contractor to come in to give me a quote
Yeah.
for the concrete slab. But I did ask the towering people if they did
Yeah.
did everything, but they don't do concrete.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I have yet to see a paver do concrete. Pain in the rear. Any further discussions? Okay, moving on.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Todd.
So citizen comments on the budget.
Okay, board. Citizens' comments regarding the board budget. I see none. Board discussion. Yeah, Patty?
No.
I know you're ready to jump.
I'm not.
Go ahead.
Go ahead, Alex, first.
So could we also contemplate adding other items into the bond as well?
What item?
Concrete slab,
Well, we
maybe,
talked about that.
yeah, maybe siding repair?
Just for clarification, the siding repair is all just supplies. Our staff does that work.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, if I could
All right.
speak, the siding repair, that's something that I'd like to tackle ourselves.
Oh, okay.
We're totally capable of doing that, and there's areas, I don't think that needs to go to the bond. I think that we should do that ourselves.
Okay.
Go ahead.
What about the rugs and the, ones of their lockers
No,
too?
that's short term.
That's short term, okay.
It's good.
Go ahead.
No, Alex took care of my question.
Oh, very good. No, that's not an option. It's short term. That gets done every year.
Right, and can I just say one other thing? I know in our facilities committees and stuff, we're working on a lot of bond projects also, and we only have so much money. And yes, it'd be great to push everything to the bond. We need to make sure that we don't push so many littler things to the bond, because we do have quite a few big things that we need to do with the bond too. I'm not trying to step on anybody's toe, I just want to make sure that
No,
everybody's aware of this,
no, we.
'Cause I'd love to put a lot of this stuff into the bond,
At the
but-
facility side of this business, we understand.
right? Okay,
And the facility meeting is 2 weeks from now.
Yes.
yep, good.
Any further discussion?
Yeah, question. The total amount of district projects, 363,000. How does that compare to the amounts that we spent last year?
1 minute. Got it. That's $119,500 above this year's projects.
How much?
$119,500 above this year's projects.
So 119 minus the 80. So that would bring your rate back down. So we're going to be almost the same as last year.
If we send some of
Yeah,
the roof
Right,
projects.
onto the bond.
Mm-hmm.
You would stay the same,
It would actually be a little bit less, yeah.
yeah.
Yeah,
So,
okay, thank you.
okay. Gary, can I give some good news?
Go ahead.
We opened the fuel bid today for both number 2 heating oil and for diesel, and we got very good prices. This year, for number 2 heating oil, we're paying $2.27. Our price for next year is going to be $1.876 per gallon. And diesel, this year, we're paying $2.27, and next year, we're going to be paying $1.9384. So that will be a $30,000 decrease from what I have budgeted right now.
How about the propane?
Propane, I haven't got a fixed price on it yet, but I've been told it will not increase from what we're paying this year, which is $145 something,
Oh,
so.
that bad. Okay.
Do we, with all the improvements on boilers, I'm sure it's too early to know if there's been any savings from old boiler versus new boiler?
I've kind of looked at it a little bit. It's very difficult because, the old boilers were oil, now we're going with propane. In Manchester, they used to have a large oil tank. So one year they'd fill it twice, the next year they'd fill it 3 times. And so, and we ran it down just about empty last year because we knew it was coming out of the ground. And so we had to start up with propane, filling them right off the bat and everything. So as far as the fuel costs, I'm not real good at. I did compare the electricity costs in Manchester last year to this year. Now, this year has been a warmer year, which could have an effect on it, but through January, we were down about $2,000. So,
How's the heat in these rooms? Are they equal?
It's very consistent, so they're still working on regular rooms, but it works every day.
So, I mean, you don't have any real hot rooms like you used to have?
No, it's not like, the library is quite warm, I don't know why, but.
I do. Yeah. We have a broken damper on the face and bypass unit, and Siemens has been there, ordered the part just last week, as a matter of fact. So
That's really part of the old system.
that's the old system. That's not even part of the new system, and there is a broken damper on the face and bypass. Yep.
So what, we put the things up for the high school, right? That's all done,
That's all taken care of.
all schools.
Yep.
So that should take care of equal air.
Yes, that will help the library considerable.
Yeah.
Yep.
Any further discussion? Any further discussions? Meeting adjourned.